And what am I doing? My dear, where are your gentlemanly manners? I'm ashamed that I married you. The man lets out a chuckle, bowing his head and looking somewhere over Jungkook's shoulder where his woman is sitting. Do you regret that you are Kim? I never regretted being Kim. I said I regret marrying you. It was a blow to the very heart, my love. And since when do you have won? Taehyung snorts with a smile, rolling his eyes, and sees how the corners of her lips twitch in a barely noticeable smile in response. He knows his wife. And he also knows that she has never, not for a second, regretted their marriage. But how the hell do they love to convince each other otherwise? Even after so many years. So, he exhales, returning to Jungkook, but Tasha interrupts him again. So, dear, please watch your manners. Be a gentleman if you want this boy to be nice to you. He is no function of not being nice to me, Kim. He is still here, sir. Jungkook cuts him off, almost growling. But his voice is actually so soft and quiet that it is more like a little meow. And I can hear everything. You see, she grins at the corner of her lips, but does not look at her husband. For a fraction of a second, Taehyung is sure that she's doing it in a showy way. But she's so good at it, right? So be polite if you're counting on his attention. And you, Jungkook, right? She stops typing for a second, and Jungkook's heart skips a beat as he feels the man's loosening grip to let Jungkook turn to her. Yes, Mrs. Kim, if I find out that he was rude to you, and you still gave him what he asked for, I myself will buy you out of this damn club and put you out of work. Is it clear? Taehyung, frowning, throws Jungkook's chin completely, instead pressing lightly on his chest, forcing him to snuggle up against the back of the seat, and looks at his wife with displeasure. Hey! You can't buy my boy out of my club. You know I can. I know you cannot. Jungkook. She finally turns her head towards them both, looks at the boy and gives him that perfect smile of hers, which now does not bode well for Jungkook. Yes, Mrs. Kim, can you name the amount for which you agree to quit the moth? There's no such amount. Taehyung cuts in immediately, sounding even more annoyed. Get your hands off him, my love. He's mine. But what about the wedding vows? My dear, she lets out a laugh. What about our promises to be together in wealth and poverty, to share sorrows and joys? I will gladly share wealth and joys with you, but please do not touch my boy. Tisha grins. Yet, there is still something left in this world that still evokes sincere emotions in her husband. And she will not forgive herself if she does not receive her own pleasure from it. Okay. The woman nods, exhaling and straightening, and goes back to work. For now. But don't you think that I won't get it if I want it? Then get yourself your own, Taehyung mutters, making Jungkook move forward. As if to demonstrate once again who Jungkook really belongs to. Mrs. Kim only breaks out into a satisfied smirk as she types out a response to another work email. Jungkook swallows nervously, feeling his stomach churn. How the hell did he get here? I'll be home late. Taehyung smiles as soon as he and Jungkook get out of the car and peers inside, meeting his wife's brown eyes. I won't wait anyway, she shrugs, making her husband break into an even more blissful smile. I know. Would you sacrifice a healthy sleep for me? I won't sacrifice even an extra minute. Dear, have a good night, my love. Have fun. She laughs, nodding, and blows. Taehyung smirks softly, perhaps even hiding a simple smile behind it, and looks towards the driver. Victor? Get my wife home safely, please. And as quickly as possible. She's already late because of me. Sure, Mr. Kim, have a safe trip home, Tisha. She says thank you with only her lips and Taehyung winks before closing the car door. So, Jungkook starts awkwardly, but the man immediately raises his hand to silence him. Jungkook frowns, biting his lip in embarrassment, and suddenly sees Taehyung closely watching the car leaving the underground parking, and only then, smiling, turns to the boy. Now you can speak. Excuse me, I'm just used to behave this way. I don't care. Jungkook shrugs, too tired to even try to sound aggressive. Your wife is your own business. And I don't know what you did in that car, Mr. Kim, forcing me to witness your private conversations. Oh, my sweet, silly, naive little Jungkook. Taehyung laughs softly, taking a step towards him and touching the velvety skin of his cheek. Do you think I did it? Jungkook swallows, suddenly feeling his usual courage lose with this touch, licks his dry lips in a second and says surprisingly quietly, who else would it be? Taehyung lets out a small chuckle, and then exhales too calmly, stroking his cheek. You've already met her, baby. But if you want, I'll gladly introduce her in absentia again. He pauses, looking down at his bitten lip. Doe eyes. Again. Kim Tisha, my dear wife. By the way, getting you out of the vile and lustful paws of the Hanbin is solely her initiative. So, when you told me that you already thanked her, I hope you really thanked her. My wife doesn't like to waste time for nothing, and you should appreciate it. Oh, I appreciate it, Mr. Kim, I really do, Jungkook almost whispers. I just don't understand how I get so much honor from your family. Who knows? Taehyung smiles contentedly as he releases the boy, puts his hands in his trousers pockets, opening his coat slightly in this gesture, and shrugs. What if you're just tasty? She likes to say that. The man nods, laughing, and seems surprisingly relaxed now. Perhaps, Jungkook thinks, he's really just in a good mood. At least he had never seen Mr. Kim like this before. When she likes someone or something, she calls it tasty. So, Taehyung pauses, shrugging his shoulders again enigmatically. Maybe you're just really sweet. The man breaks into a smirk, still under the veil of the recent scene with his wife that Jungkook has witnessed. Jungkook feels himself boiling inside. Kim thought he wouldn't understand him, right? Thought he can say anything, because who is Jungkook to understand these French sayings that he and Mrs. Kim were exchanging in the car? But now Jungkook is grateful for all the sleepless nights he spent preparing for his French classes, because for the first time he feels it was worth it. Oh, really? He narrows his eyes at the man's face. Mr. Kim. Slightly broken, not at all with such a clean accent and without that attractive soft R pronunciation, but he still answers, and for a split second he feels superior. Feels like he's ruined the pictures in Kim's head by showing more than he was supposed to. Oh, really? Didn't know you can speak French, baby. Only, I assume you meant to. The man smiles, and his voice seems surprisingly velvety. I don't even know whether to praise you for your knowledge or scold you for silly mistakes. But don't worry, he leans into Jungkook's ear, his hot breath running over the skin. I will gladly give you some lessons. You're a diligent student, aren't you? Jungkook swallows. It's not for you to teach me anything, Mr. Kim. And if I need help with French, I'll go to my professor. I'm sure she'll have more knowledge. She's French, Jungkook declares almost proudly. Taehyung narrows his eyes, grinning again in contentment. That's what I love about you. Every time it's so exciting and I don't know what to expect from you. The man nods to his own words, and then, without even hiding, with an evaluating look, he looks over the boy from head to toe. But, just in case you're wondering, I speak French perfectly. I spent years in France. Jungkook. I can teach you French. Better teach yourself some manners, sir. Jungkook snorts, adjusting his backpack, which is slipping off his shoulder. Your wife is right. You are acting like a complete idiot. And if you thought that my opinion had changed since our last conversation, when I told off, then no. And if you want, I can say it again. Of course you can, baby boy. He laughs, nodding, and brushes his hair back with his fingers. I don't even doubt that you. My dear Jungkook, the boy grimaces, turning away from him. Do not call me yours. This is terrible and not even true. Oh, it's just a matter of time. Taehyung shrugs, stepping closer and firmly touching his back. Let's go. You still have to work for me today. You're such a freak, Mr. Kim. Jungkook rumbles, moving obediently with him towards the elevator that will take them from the parking lot to the needed floor. That's something that doesn't change time and time again. And not my. How pleasant it is to listen to your bickering. You should know. Taehyung smiles, stopping and calling the elevator, but does not remove his hand from Jungkook's back, only rises above the boy, still grinning. Do you know when it's even more pleasant? When you take off your me and then sit on my lap. And even then you try to show with all your attitude that you yourself do not get pleasure from this. Taehyung laughs. The night is really not that bad. As they take the elevator up to the moth, Jungkook feels his excitement as a cumulative nausea that has already risen in his throat. The last thing he wants is for one of his colleagues to see him come here with Mr. Kim. That's when his relationship with the team will finally fly into the abyss, and the broken glass will return into shoes, as at the very beginning. And Jungkook, to be completely honest, probably won't even be surprised anymore. Okay, Kim nods, finishing typing on his phone as they stop in the hallway, still keeping his other hand on the boy's waist where he placed it while still standing in the elevator. Your actions are, go to the dressing room, take your costume and whatever else you need, and come to my office in 20 minutes. I'll solve one work issue and then I want to relax. With your assistance, of course.